Hi, good morning. You guys can hear me clearly? Please confirm. All right, Hannah says yes. All right, Cecil, how about you? Can you hear us? All right, we should start now. Those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Suhel. I will be your module leader for the business innovation and entrepreneurship. Today is our first session whereby I will be briefing about a few important topics and also will be guiding you how to do your endpoint assessment from this section of business innovation and entrepreneurship. So let's start.
That's my answer.
Right. All right. So this module is that the student will learn about the knowledge and the skills that need to manage the development of innovation, to recognize and evaluate the potential opportunities to monetize the innovation in the organization. Please mute your mic. It creates, whenever necessary, I will ask you to unmute and please talk, right? Thank you. Right. So this module, business innovation and entrepreneurship will teach you to plan a specific and detailed method to exploit these opportunities and to acquire the resources necessary to implement in the plans, right? This module also will discuss or include the topic of entrepreneurial thinking, innovation management, opportunity spotting and evaluation. It will also talk about the industry and the market research, business strategy, business models and business plans, financial forecasting and entrepreneurial finance and launching new ventures, right? This module has a specific learning outcomes. So end of these modules, the students are expected to achieve the following learning outcomes. So what are the learning outcomes? Let's see. Number one, to examine the process by which innovation is fostered, managed, and
recording in progress.
Kevin, your mic is unmuted. Please mute this. Yeah, thank you. Right. So number one, learning outcome that to examine the process by which innovation is fostered, managed, and commercialized. Second learning outcome that you're going to achieve upon completion of this module is to effectively and efficiently evaluate the potential of new business and new business opportunities. The third one, to assess the market potential of a new venture, including the customer need, competitors, and industry attractiveness. Next learning outcome that you are going to achieve in this module, to develop a business model for a new venture, including revenue, margins, operations, working capital, and investment, right? And the last one, the learning outcome that you're going to achieve in this module is to write a clear, concise, and compelling business plan for a new venture. This is very important. So these are the learning outcomes the students are expected to achieve upon completion of this module. Now, let's look into the indicative areas of studies, which is also known as your syllabus for this module, business innovation and entrepreneurship. Number one topic, entrepreneurial thinking, innovation management, opportunity spotting and evaluation, industry and the market analysis, how to do it, using business strategy and business models, financial forecasting, business plan, entrepreneurial finance, and new venture creations. So these are the areas you're going to cover in this module. Today, basically, we look into the two topics, which is your entrepreneurial thinking and strategy and business models. In the following session, we'll have another session in the next week, whereby we'll cover our business plan. A lot of resources is updated in your student learning management or portal, student portal. You can access it. I will be showing you after end of our session, right? Now, before going to the module innovation, business innovation and entrepreneurship, so we need to know what is the business innovation. We always know innovation is something new, something creative, that is applicable for the other sector. For business, innovation is a specific tool for entrepreneurs that by means which they exploit the opportunity for a different business or services, right? So that definition was mentioned by Drucker. He also included the points like creativity equal to ideas, concept, or inventions. Entrepreneurship also mean couples of opportunities or resources. Thus, the innovation, the process of development and commercialization. So if we summarize all these things and in context of business innovation, we see there is two things, innovation or business innovation equal to innovation plus commercialization. So in business industry or in this sector of business, that any innovation which is not commercialized is not considered as innovation, right? So you notice that there are a lot of inventions, a lot of innovations, but they are not successful in the business. In other words, which are not commercialized. Therefore, innovation means invention plus commercialization. So any innovation which is not commercialized is not recognized as innovation in terms of business. So in case of business, it needs to be something new, creative, which adding value to your products, as existing products or services, and it is commercialized. You can earn money, right? Now, what is innovation then? So innovation is the creation of a sustainable new value for customers and firm by creatively changing one or more dimension of the business, right? So it's not necessary to have always new businesses. It can be to the expansion, to the addition of your existing business or services, right? So the key aspects of innovation, if we look into this definition. So number one, broader than product or technology innovation. This must generate new value for customers or sellers, right? This is the main focus where it needs to generate a new value or create new value for your products or services. Same way it can be for your customer or seller as well. It also involves changes to the leading differentiation. So it can be product differentiation, it can be your service differentiation, and most importantly, this gives you a sustainable competitive advantage in the business. It must. In order to create a sustainable competitive advantage, you need to be innovative. Example can be said that how a Starbucks or Dell or Apple or iPod create the value in their sustainable competitive advantage, right? You see, the Starbucks or Dell or even the Apple, they are quite sometimes in the market, they are dominating in their each field with quite success. Why they are successful? Because they are bringing some innovations to their products and services. I want to give you one example. If you remember earlier that Kodak, the film, or people used to take the 36 photos. When the digital camera came in, they refused to actually change or innovate. They thought they are the only people in the market and they dominate the market. So they did not innovate or didn't change. So they lost the competitive advantage. And at some point of time, people are no longer using the Kodak. They are no longer using because they can use a digital camera to take photos, and there are a lot of benefits. They take thousands of photos, they can save it easily, right? So they are obsolete in the market. Another example can be Nokia. In 2020, if you notice, they dominated the market. Almost they didn't have any competitors at the same time, although there are some competitors, but they were the market leader. So what happened when the Android or iOS came into the market? So they didn't adopt, or they didn't change, or they didn't innovate their products or handphones. They also at one time lost from the competition. So they are no longer, although they were trying to come back using Windows Phone and all, but they are not successful, right? So to summarize, to survive in the business industry, your businesses can be product or services, whatever it is, you need to be innovative. You need to have innovation and also entrepreneurial aspects to your business in order to survive, plus to get a sustainable competitive advantage here. Now, so we're talking about the innovations. So where does these innovations come from? If we look into carefully, there are many sources from where the innovation. Number one can be your advertising. You see that the way the people are now advertising, there is also one of the source of innovations. From traditional mode of advertisement to the digital aspects, is uncovering very employing latent needs and all, right? So people have become creative, people are innovating. Innovation also generating or coming from the inspirations, the Archimedes moment, whereby they're looking for tribal and something different to bring some competency in their businesses. Innovation also come from knowledge portion. What is the knowledge push actually? You see, when the pandemic started, there is a need of vaccination or medication. So people have started doing their research and development. So that is kind of knowledge portion. And need pull to survive in the pandemic, you need masks or you need other products or services, which is the need pull. Then that's how people also becoming innovative and bringing some new inventions. Users as innovators, sometimes the way people are using also the innovation arises. Exploring the alternative future, opening up the different possibilities. One of the good example of this can be your Tesla. We know that the petrol or natural energy are limited source of energy. And that's how the scientists are looking for alternative energies. So they come up with the solar energy or Tesla model. So these are also source of innovations because we're looking for alternative futures. Sometimes while we are using the current system and we find it's not working and we bring something else, also it's a source of another innovation called shocks to the system. One of the good example can be, you see, before pandemic, we even didn't imagine about the online education or the way we are taking classes using different online platform like Zoom or Google Meet or Teams. We didn't even imagine. So what we used to have the physical classes and all. So when pandemic started, there were lockdown everywhere, people cannot go out. So we started using the alternative mode of education. What is this also kind of shock to the system, and now there are many platforms. There are some innovation are accidental because we didn't expect the way it's supposed to happen, but it expected. So it's known as accidental or unexpected or surprising things which offer new directions for innovation. Watching others also is another source of innovations. If we look into the competition, especially in the handphone, there are many companies, especially the new phone like Oppo's or Xiaomi's. They are just watching how Samsung or other Android phones are moving forward, and they are bringing some new things, which is their way of innovation. Recombinant innovation ideas and applications in the one world transfer to the next or context, right? That these are another way of source of innovation. Regulation. Sometimes the strict rules and regulation also force you to innovate. So in sum up, these are the various sources of innovations that comes in and we adopt in our daily life in doing businesses. Now, I hope you are clear about the definition of innovation. And is there any questions so far? You can use your chat box to answer this. If there's no question, we move into our next topic, which is entrepreneurial thinking. No questions? All right, you said they can see and hear, no problem. So in entrepreneurial thinking, or what is entrepreneur, or who is entrepreneur? Is there anybody got any idea who is entrepreneur or what is entrepreneurship? Anyone? Anyone would like to define this? What is entrepreneurship? Hannah, you would like to define?
Hi, good day. It's about taking risks and starting a new business venture to make financial gain from it, obviously.
All right, so taking new businesses and getting some financial, yeah, thank you. Angel, you would like to say what is entrepreneurship? All right, I think she's sending the text message. Right, Kevin, you would like to talk about what is entrepreneurship, your understanding?
Taking that risk to start a new venture
with
the expectation of making a profit.
Very good. So you see the key word here, taking risk, and Hannah is saying the financial aspects. Yeah, thank you. Let's look into what is entrepreneurship. Now, entrepreneurship is the identification of evaluation and your exploitation opportunities. What is the exploitation of opportunities? That means use of the opportunities. That is defined by the Shane in 2011. Another definition saying that entrepreneurship is essentially an economic phenomenon, and this involves a nexus of two phenomena. One, the presence of lucrative opportunities. Second, the presence of enterprising individuals. Right. Even if we summarize all the two definitions, we notice entrepreneurship is an act of doing businesses, taking risks, taking the opportunities to generate income or to generate money, right? Angela, I didn't get you what you're saying. If you can't talk, you can text. There's already, you can text, no problem, right? Let's now we understand what is entrepreneurship. Let's look into what is who is entrepreneur. Who is an entrepreneur? Obviously, the person who is taking the risk, the person who is taking the challenge to create some opportunities, to create some new ventures to generate income, right? So in our society, or even in the context of business, anything which is not generating financial benefit, and not creating opportunities for others as well. These are not known as entrepreneur. I understand all of you from Tobago and Trinidad. Do you like to mention any name or any entrepreneur you know from there? Could you please text, or you can let me know who do you know? All right, Angel, that's fine. That's fine. Right. Do you know any entrepreneur from your country? My boss, Yusuf Muhammad, all right. What business he is doing, Angel? Right. Owner of One Grain Mills, right? So you see, he's the owner of a One Grain Mills. That means he got his own industry. He is creating working opportunities for others, and those who are working in these mills, so they are getting financial benefits, right? And we know, of course, mainly poultry and grains. Yeah, understand. Thank you. All right. So this is what I wanted to know. Your entrepreneur. So you have identified the right person, right? We know Bill Gates, and he has created, Microsoft, that almost even all of you, I believe, are using it. You see, and talking about the Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, he's also another entrepreneur. He used his handphone or even the computer or laptops we are using. Similarly, there are what we call Amazon owner, the Ben Joseph or Jeff Bezos, Hannah said, right? Then Richard Branson for Virginia Airlines, right? In Malaysia, we have Tony Fernandez, who is the entrepreneur for AirAsia, right? So there are many entrepreneurs around the world. And in fact, they are the driving force of this industry now. All of us, we are attending today MBA classes. End of the day, you will work under somebody, or you can create, or you can give jobs to the others. So this is yours. Now, all of us, in some or other way, is entrepreneur. Now, some we create the economic or financial benefits for others. Some we don't, right? Now you see the impact of an entrepreneur, their products or services. You see, 24 hours in a day, and we really cannot be away from these types of what they call the entrepreneurs, their impact. You use computer, yeah, see, all of them, they are entrepreneur. You want to use your what do you call the browser, Google or Mozilla or Internet Explorer. Somebody invented this and commercialized it. If you want to purchase things over internet or the e-commerce, eBay, Amazon, you see, they're the famous. You are using handphone, somebody invented this and commercialized. You have had a wireless communication. Of course, the BlackBerry is obsolete now. Now, no longer people are using what they call REAM, now using SIM. And the other budget airlines, this and that, right? So you see the impact of entrepreneur in our 24, there are some more. Where you bought your clothes, Nike, Adidas and all, right? This is also an example of entrepreneurs. You bought your coffee, Starbucks, and the important things, how they are surviving, So in order to keep your products or services update to the market, you need to be innovative. There's no other way. You need to be, bring some values or add values to your products or services. We'll discuss about the Starbucks business model later on. You want to buy some DIY products, so again, we go to the entrepreneurs. Even you want to take some stationaries, which is the essential part of our daily life staples, we need to buy. And then we mentioned about the Apple products, the watching a news channel, even the entertainment, what you call Netflix nowadays is very innovative. Netflix, the way Netflix actually challenged the traditional mode of cinema or entertainment, right? And they are quite successful. They are almost 100 over countries now, right? And the fitness club, the what do you call the biggie shows, or you mention anything that we have entrepreneurs now. So we have seen what is entrepreneurship and who is entrepreneur, and we have seen the impacts in our 24 hours of life. So after going through all these, there are few essential components of entrepreneurship. What is that? Number one, it needs to be innovation. There must be some innovation. And the person who is taking this entrepreneurship things, he or she needs to be patient, right? There must be some integrity. There must be very, what do you call, knowledge, integrity, quicker to take decisions. Their communication skills will be excellent, and they will be a good motivator as well. So these are the components, or we can say the essential components of an entrepreneur, right? Now, earlier we mentioned that there are some entrepreneurs that generates financial benefits or economic benefits. So that is more towards entrepreneurship in business world. But there are some social entrepreneurs who are good at in the social networking, this and that. You can name it as what you call the United Nations. They are kind of social entrepreneurs. Now, the entrepreneur, there is a process. There is a process how the entrepreneur thinks, or how a person can become an entrepreneur. So the cycle started with the opportunity, and the effects. I mean, it takes from the opportunity, and a person who takes the advantage of the opportunity, and they use it to exploit, to use it properly, and to come up with some benefit. So opportunity, discovery, exploitation. So you find the opportunity, you exploit it, you have utilized it, you have used it, and then you find out something, which is discovery. This is the total opportunity, I mean the entrepreneurial process. So this process got causation and effectuation. So you got a cause. What is the cause? To discover something, to take the opportunity of the, to use the opportunity, and to come up with some discovery, which will be beneficial to the individuals. Now, you see in the whole process, three things are involved. Of course, the individual who is gearing up, or who is driving force, and there will be a farm and the environment. So these are the process of or entrepreneurial process, we can say, right? So do ideas or opportunities? Which one? Do problems or opportunities? Actually, both. Sometimes idea brings you to be to be an entrepreneur. Sometimes opportunities makes you an entrepreneur. Sometimes problem make you an entrepreneur, and the opportunities as well. And reality is an idea, only an opportunity. So whoever you see is a successful entrepreneur today, that all of them had some problems, or they had some opportunities which they utilized it, and they become successful. Now they are entrepreneurs. So after going through all these things, we can only say an entrepreneur when it adds value to your consumer, or it solves a problem, or it can make money, right? Communication value or some other stakeholders. It is a good fit with the entrepreneurial team. So these are the quite symptoms or indications that we know They are the successful entrepreneur. And this was mentioned by Timmons and Spinelli in 2007. So that's all about the entrepreneurial thinking. Do you guys have any question before we move to our next topic, strategy and business model? All right, you got no questions. Strategy and business model, basically innovation strategy and business model. So innovation strategy or strategy innovation is about challenging the existing industry or methods of creating customer value in order to meet newly or emerging customer needs, in addition to create new markets and also the customer group for sponsoring company. So here we can see few important aspects. Innovation, challenging existing industry method of creating customer value. Now, we can say what you call the innovation strategy. If you don't have it, or you can't, or you fail to create a value or add value to your existing products or services, it will be an obsolete for after a period of time. Right. So you must have innovation strategy, or you have to invent the strategy. Now, there are few ways how you can determine your desired outcome. So to create strategy, there are many ways. So your innovation strategy should reflect what you want to achieve from the innovation process. So in other words, you must have a goal, an objective or specific objectives, so that based on your objectives or your goal or your target, you can create some strategy, or more known as an innovative strategy. Number one is develop a new product or service. So if you see an opportunity for a radical change, the type of products that offered in the market, good example can be in the pandemic period. There was an immense need for mask, the surgical mask. Previously, the demand was not so high. So you can see there are different types of masks in the market, KN95, KN94, KF, or the two-layer mask, different types of surgical masks, you see. So there was an opportunity when the pandemic started, and some people took the opportunity, and they became the entrepreneur in this sector. Protect the market share. In dynamic global environment, or continuous innovation is required many instances just to maintain the market share. A good example for the Samsung for handphone or Apple products and all. You see, continuously they are doing their research and bringing some innovation. Sometimes in terms of your capacity, sometimes in terms of your camera, the processor, etc., etc. So they are bringing. Why they are bringing? Just to make sure the market share increase or remain the same, doesn't fall, right? You also need to innovate sometime to expand your market share. Let's say you are doing only marketing in your product market is only in Trinidad and Tobago, and you want to expand some other countries or even some parts of the US or some other countries. So you need your product or services need to have some strategy. Not necessary that always go for product or services. Sometimes you also look into your marketing strategy. Sometimes how do you position in the market, right? So there are many, this is also a part of the innovation or innovation strategy. To sell your license to another organization, if you see Starbucks or McDonald's or KFC, they are selling their licenses, or what they call franchising mode, or throughout the world, right? So if you may have some product or services like this, and you want to expand it. To retain more staff, sometimes some organizations or some businesses, they have more turnover of the staff. So to retain their staff, they also need to be very strategic. In pandemic time, many organizations, they started to lay off the staff, because there are some organizations, they really didn't need the staffing at that time. So they started. Now, when pandemic is more over or it's improving, they need it more. And you see there are less staff. So they like to retain their staff. So there need to be innovation as well in their services. If you want to improve your operational efficiency, you also wish to reduce cost, maximize your resources. So you need to be innovative. You also need to innovative to increase the recognition in the marketplace, right? So maybe you are at your product or services locally, how you can expand your products or services in the region or globally. So you need to think about this innovative of the marketing strategy, right? So these are the ways that you can determine your desired outcome, right? So you need to set your goal first, and then your products or services, and then how you want to move. Based on that, you can take decision about your innovation strategy, right? Now, there are 6 elements of the effective innovation strategy, right? Number 1, your objective and role we have already discussed, and arenas and strategic tasks. Where is your product or services located? Where is the physical location? Based on that also, this is one of the factors that will decide your innovation strategy. You will also think about your attack strategy or entry strategy, right? What is the attack strategy? That you see the prices for the handphones are very competitive. If someone, even for the computers or laptops, if someone gives $50 discount, another gives 60, right? The competition is very severe. Some products or services, they look into the entry strategy. Entry strategy means they do a lot of promotions and then slowly enter into the market, right? So they do not go in an attack strategy. Their product or services is very differentiated, right? So they do the product or service differentiation rather in the competitive in an attack strategy. You can also follow your deployment, spending commitments or priorities or strategic buckets. You can also decide about your strategic product roadmap, right? Major initiatives or platform developments, right? You want to go physically or you want to go online, how you want to expand your strategic roadmap. You can also think about your tactical portfolio management decision for the project selection. What are the business you want to do? What are the businesses? Not the good time and place is important, right? So these are the 6 important elements of your effective innovation strategy, which you need to think about before you are deciding over or product or services. Now we'll talk about our 4 major strategy that some of the businesses are, I mean, almost all the businesses, they fall under these 4 categories. So based on your product or services, you can decide. Number 1 is proactive strategy. What are the proactive strategy? Companies with the proactive strategy of innovation that tend to have a strong research orientation and first mover advantage. This can be in a technology or market leader. The access of knowledge from a broader range of sources and take big sets and high risk. So these types of businesses, they do not see what their competitors are doing. Rather, they focus in your innovation or research and development, and they strike the strategy. This type of strategy is known as proactive innovation strategy. For example, you can say that Apple or Singapore Airlines. These types of strategies are very radical. They are the breakthrough and they change the nature of products or services. The moment iOS they introduce in the market, until today also they don't have any competitors in iOS sector. Although Android is also the similar, but they're the one who bringing the latest technology, latest aspects of handphone. Similarly, Singapore Airlines, it can be Emirates Airlines, Etihad Airlines, or Qatar Airlines. The way they introduce their product or services, they are very proactive in their industry. Next is active strategy. Active strategy means there is a slow involvement of defending existing technologies and making while being prepared to respond quickly once and in the market, and also technologies are proven. Right. So these guys or this type of businesses, they don't want to take any challenges or the risk. If you notice, there is always when new model bring by Samsung and all in case of handphone, then a lot of other people like copy, like Xiaomi or your Oppo or some other. They just see the new product and they see the other people are successful, so they bring it. Similarly, you see the Microsoft, Dell, and all. They are not bringing something which is radical, which is revolutionary in the market. Rather, they'll see what the HP is bringing, or Asus or Acer they're bringing. So they also bring this kind. So there is a constant development, but they don't bring something radical in the market. So these types of strategies are known as active innovation strategies. There are some strategy called reactive innovation strategy, which reactive means, which are known as a focus on operations. They take a beat and see the approach. They look for a low risk opportunities. They don't take any risk. So somebody, some of their competitors, they bring some changes or bring some new product or services. So they observe it first. They observe it and they find they taking bringing the new product or service. There is less risk, almost no risk. Then they also try to bring the similar types of product or services, right? For example, the Ryanair or the budget airlines, no frills model of Southwest Airlines, Asia, etc., etc. So these types of businesses, they follow the competitors first, and they see the competitor brings some new strategy or some new model of business, and following that, consumers are also accepting this, and there's no risk. So they try to bring the similar model or similar method of business strategy, which is known as reactive innovation strategy. The last is passive mode of innovation strategy. This strategy basically, they don't bring any changes until or unless there's a market need. I mean, when they found themselves, there is no way, we must bring some changes or we will be obsolete in the market, they bring. So companies with the passive innovation strategy will wait until their customers demand and change in their products or services. Example include the automotive and supply companies, as they wait for the customer to demand changes in the specification before implementing this. So automotive section in general falls under this category. Their changes are very slow, and when they see the demand from the market, they try to bring it right. So this is all about the innovation strategies. Now there are two more strategies, which is known as red ocean strategy and the blue ocean strategy. These are the famous strategies in the business world. Red ocean strategy, basically their competition is very severe. They mainly compete with the price, whereby blue ocean strategy, they create uncontested market or space, kind of monopoly market. Their product or service is so innovative, so different that they don't have any competitors, right? In red ocean strategy, they try to beat the competition, whereby in blue ocean strategy, make the competition irrelevant. They don't have any competition. Red ocean strategy, they exploit the existing demand. In blue ocean strategy, they create and capture new demand. Red ocean strategy make the value of cost trade-off, whereby in blue ocean strategy, break the value cost or trade-off. And in the red ocean strategy, align the whole system of a company's activities with the strategic choice of differentiation or the low cost. They, as I mentioned earlier, they try to compete in terms of price, whereby in a blue ocean strategy, there's always align the whole system of companies' activities in pursuit to the differentiations. So they focus in the market differentiations. It can be the price can be low or high, doesn't matter. Right? The product is different, service are different. Now, there are 4 aspects whereby if you follow this, you can get a sustainable competitive advantage and innovative in your respective business area. So these factors are to create what? Factors should be created that industry has never offered. So you need to create something which industry so far hasn't been offered or not been adopted. To raise which the factors should be raised as all above the industry standard. Eliminate which factors industry takers or granted should be eliminated. And reduce which factors to be reduced well below the industry standards. If you follow this, you will be able to create a new value curve for your existing products or services, right? So that is all about the innovation strategy. Now let's look into the business model or designing business models. This will be our last topic for tonight's sessions. So is there any question for innovation strategy so far? Or you guys understand clearly? No question? All right. Anna said, I understand, right? So let's move into, right, thank you. The business model, and this is the important part. Before I go into this, do you have any understanding what is actually business model? Any understanding of yourself? What do you understand a business model, or what is business model means to you? You can unmute and talk, Hannah.
To me, a business model is really a plan, the strategy for what a business is going to do. It will have a layout of your intended resources, your staffing, problems that may occur. That is what a business model is to me.
All right, thank you. Kevin? You'd like to add anything? Morrison? All right. So business model is the description of your company. Right. Thank you, Morrison. Yeah. So business model is a description of your company that create a value in the marketplace. There are many definitions actually, but in sum, it includes a unique combination of products, service, and images and distribution that your business carries forward. It also includes an underlying organization of people and the operational infrastructure they use to accomplish their work. All of you need to understand this for 2 reasons. It's not necessary whether you are doing business or you are working, but you all need to understand. If you are doing your business, how it will create add value and all. If you are working for somebody else, then you will know how your organization is working and how you can contribute, right? That's how you need to know this. A business model is a system that transforms tangible business ideas into products or services that have value in the marketplace. That was mentioned by Hamadan and Colin in 2003. So an idea is always intangible, right? Idea or entrepreneurship skills, we are talking about who is entrepreneur, this and that, entrepreneurship. These are all intangible, we can't see. What we can see when you're really doing your business, that's what we can see. That's why they say that to transform intangible business ideas into products or services that have value in the marketplace, that is the business model. A business model defines how a firm or business organization works. Business model also tells who are your customer, who are your supplier, how you create value, how a firm is making money, how a value can be delivered to the customer cost effectively. This characteristics was mentioned by Margaret in 2002. So if we classify a business model, it can be product-based or service-based. It can be ownership or rent of key assets. It can be financial provider. So these are the classifying of business models. Later, we'll give you some examples so you can understand. A business model also can be based on the system integrator, platform provider, network provider. It can be skills provider, outsourcer. System integrators means the software, basically. There are many business, I mean the IT firms or the software firm. The platform provider is good example is you are using Zoom. So Zoom is a platform, online platform, or Google Meet, or Teams, or Microsoft 365. These are the online platforms. So they are renting out or outsourcing to the other people. For example, in case of our university, we are renting it. So this is another business model. Network provider, mainly the mobile company. The skill provider, or you can say the training provider, the outsourcer. There are many outsourcing companies that provide their services or products. Right? So these are the basic business models available nowadays. Now, doing a business model classification, you also need to know what they come up with the existing business model, which can be categorized under each of business model categories. So we have already discussed the 8 types of categories of the business model. So we can skip this. Now, there are some more. There are business model which is B2B, business to business. There are business model which is business to customer. There are also business model which is consumer to consumer, consumer to consumer. There are business model with businesses to government, and the same way, consumer to business. So the first one, business to business, is well established model, and more or less all of us are familiar with this type of business model, whereby one company is dealing with another company, business to business. Business to consumer, this model also we are familiar, whereby business selling their product or services to the consumer. Now, consumer to consumer, sometimes we don't understand this. It becomes a complex. Nowadays, there are a lot of e-hailing services or ride-sharing services, or even what you call your e-commerce services. So using an online platform, actually a consumer is selling their product or services to another consumer. So this is C2C. And business to the government is very clear. Sometimes government, there are a lot of contractors that governments appoint to do their jobs. So that is B2G. And consumer to the business. So when in the e-commerce platform, there are products or services that people buy. And there is also a platform whereby consumers sell it to the business. That means they're supplying their products or services, right? So these are the popular business models. Now, business model components. What are the essential components in a business model? We can see there are manufacturing things. We have financial aspects. We have marketing aspects, information, supply and customers, and product and services development. These are the essential or the required components. In almost all organizations, you can see these aspects, right? So attributes of a good business model. So in order to have a good business model, what are the things or what are the things you should have? The business model, you should explain how value is created, the business architecture, and why it is good business model. The architecture value will value proposition. Any company, you got the value proposition. Identify a market segment. You can define your value or supply chain, the cost structure or profit potential, and you will have a competitive advantage. Right. Whatever you are looking in this screen is known as a business model canvas, which was developed by also known as Osterwalder model or business model. Now, this is a framework, or you can say theory. I mean, in Osterwalder business model or the more business model canvas, he said these are the components. What are the components? Number one, key partners. So in a business, you will have partners. So you will be identified who are your key partners. You will also be telling key activities. What are your activity in the business? Key resources. What are the resources you get? What is your cost structure? It involves your finance. Revenue stream. How you generate income. Your value proposition. What is your slogan or the value proposition? What are your distribution channels? How do you, you communicate with your suppliers? How is your relationship with your customer and customer segmentations? Following this business model canvas, I give an example of Airbnb. You see, if I follow this business model of canvas and I get all the segmentation, key partner. So for Airbnb, who are the partners? They are host. Host can be the people who rent their space. Their guests are also their business partners. I mean, the key partners. And photographers, freelance, investors, payment processors. So these are their key partners in case of Airbnb. What are their key activity? They do product development and management in case their product is to rent out the rooms and all. Building a host network and managing host, building travelers network and managing guests. What are their key resources? Their resources is local host, skilled employees, and technology. This is their key resources. What are their cost structure like? The cost only for technological setup and running the cost, salaries to the permanent employees, payment to the freelance photographers. These are the cost structures. I mean, they're fixed cost. What are their value proposition? They say that host can earn money by renting their space. Airbnb offers insurance to the house owners. They have free photo shoot for property throughout the photographers. What are the value proposition for the guests? Guests can book a homestay instead of a hotel. Prices are often less than compared to hotels. So these are the value proposition for host and the guest. How is the customer relationship? You can see the customer service, social media, promotional offers, home insurance. These are there. This is how they build their customer relationships. What are the channels? They advertise the website. They have mobile app for Android and iOS. What are the revenue streams? They get commission from the host upon every booking. They also get commission from guests upon every booking. Now, what are their customer segmentations for their customers? Host also their customer, guest also their customer. Host be mainly who are willing to rent out their house to earn extra money. People who want to meet new people, they are their host. Guests, people who love to travel, and people who want to stay comfortably at a cheaper price. So this is an example of business model canvas. I will give you the template, and I want all of you to give an example from your experiences to fill this up before next class. So I will be emailing you all after today's session. So I want to know what is your understanding of business model canvas, right? So this is an example of Dell business model compared to a traditional computer, how they are operation. So a traditional laptop or computer, you see, they are processed, how many? There are more. You can see that they are processed much longer. Number one is the demand. When they have a focused demand, they obtain sub-components from the supplier. They make basic components. They assemble complete PC. They store PC in the warehouse, ship PCs to the retailer. PC sit on the retailer's shelf until it is sold, then in hands of a customer. Compared to this, you see the Dell business model, which is much efficient, and within the shorter period of time, they can send their computers to the customer. The process, they get an order from customers via your phone or internet. They contact manufacturer instantly view order information and ship component parts. They'll assemble computer from the component party. The computer is shipped direct to the customer using UPS or FedEx, and the customer receive. So this is their business model. There are many competitors of Dell computers. Compared to the others, their business model, this is how make them or gives them a sustainable competitive advantage to survive in the market, right? So Dell is one of the what they call efficient and quite some time they are in the market, and they're all of the market leaders as well. Now, innovation radar. In order to create an innovation, there are 12 different ways you can create your innovation data, whereby you focus what, who, how, and where. And what the changing, what the firm offers, changing who customer is, and also changing how to sell to your customers, changing where to sell to your customers, right? So this is how you follow this, you'll be able to generate a good business model followed by your value chain. You need to add your value chain. You see, to add value, you need to follow this value chain, whereby there are a few components here: your farm infrastructure, your human resource management, your technology development, your resource procurement. How it works: you have inbound logistics, you have operations, you have outbound logistics, you have marketing and sales, and you have the services. So you have support activity and you have primary activity that will give you the margins, right? And this is how you should be able to generate the value chain or for your products or services, and you can create your desired business models. So if we look into the Starbucks business model, you see there are many components, but look, their focus in customer experiences, how the customer feel their product and also their services. Secondly, the presence where their locations. Their third one is their branding. This is how Starbucks doing it. Let's look into the Walmart. Their model is a bit different. They focus in supply chain. They also look into their products. What are the things they offer, and the value capture or the customer experiences, right? So in summary, the business model is the vehicle that to run an opportunity to real business. So a business model is tangible things. Business entrepreneurship is an intangible. We can't see the idea. We can't see, but idea, when they're reflected into the reality, we can see the business model. The key components of the business models are developed and expanded in the business plan. The business model must identify both value and proposition and the architecture of the business itself, right? So there are 3 links here that there are more information about the business models and all. They also discuss about the strategy and innovation. Now you see, one of the business model that is believed to be dominant in the future. based on their current position. You won't be surprised if the Apple, they say that they're going to change their product whereby they will give the handphone free, but they will focus on the subscription, right? So because you want to enjoy the Apple Music, you need to subscribe. You need to get the space, you need to subscribe. So maybe in future they will do their business, reposition their business model in such way, right? So we have covered today the innovation, entrepreneurial thinking, and also the business model. So far, any question? I open the floor for question. We should go on by one. Hannah, you have any question?
No questions, sir.
All right. Giselle? Angel, any question?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Angel? Kevin?
None of this time. So
All right. So two things. Number one is next class, I will be emailing you now straight away. All of you, please send me your email address in the chat box. Just text me your email address. I'll be giving you a business model canvas, the empty template. So you need to find any business, and then you need to fill the components of the business, like their key resources, key partners, their slogans, their financial things, customer experiences, and all, so that this will give you an idea how to operate, how to generate a good business model, right? All right. I think all of you have given us. Thank you. Now, I have sent you a link in the text box. This is a form whereby we need to get your feedback. So this is a university policy. We want to hear the feedback from our students so that we can improve further. It will take 1 or 2 minutes. Kindly complete this. And if there is no other questions, we end our session here. Thank you for joining today. I hope to see you in next week. All right, bye. So we end our session. Kindly complete and don't forget to fill up the survey form. Right, thank you.